My father, Charles Richard C.R. Patterson, was born into slavery to Charles and Nancy Patterson on a Virginia plantation in 1833. When my father arrived in Ohio with his family, he assisted blacksmiths in smith work and wagon repair. When he became older, he found employment as a blacksmith for a wagon and coach building company known as Dines and Simpson Coach and Carriage Company in Greenfield, Ohio. In 1870, the company promoted him to the position of foreman. He was honored and proud of his personal achievements, as were the rest of the family. In 1864, C.R. Patterson married my mother, Josephine Outes, and had several children, including Mary, Nellie, me, Frederick Douglass, Dorothea, Samuel, and Kate. When my siblings and I reached school age, our parents enrolled us into the Ohio public schools. Later, I was denied admission to the all-white high school. My father filed a case on September 30th, 1886, against the Ohio school superintendent. Although African Americans were free, we did not have equal rights. Laws known as the Black Codes were instituted to limit our freedom. Under Ohio state laws, for example, African Americans did not have the right to sue. Nevertheless, a judge later ruled that I must be admitted to the high school. This ruling came just days after the Ohio legislature voted to desegregate the entire school system. Despite this setback, I graduated from the Greenfield High School in 1888, after which I attended Ohio State University, joining its football team in 1891. Prior to my graduation, I left the university to take a job as a high school history teacher in Louisville, Kentucky. In 1873, my father, C.R. Patterson, went into business with J.P. Lowe, a white man who made carriages, to form J.P. Lowe & Company, or Lowe Patterson. In 1893, he bought Lowe's share of the business. He reorganized it as C.R. Patterson and Sons Company to include my youngest brother Samuel. During the company's heyday, 35 to 50 hands turned out 28 different styles of vehicles, whose prices ranged from $60 to $150 each. The most popular vehicle was the doctor's buggy, which was distributed throughout the South and Midwest United States. During my father's years in business, he earned patents for the following devices: a thill coupling, furniture caster, and a vehicle dash. In 1897, Samuel became ill, prompting me to leave my teaching post to assist my father with the business. 2 years later, Samuel died at the age of 24. My father died in 1910, and I, Frederick Douglass Patterson, took over the company. I quickly learned that the industry was shifting toward the automobile. Its popularity caused me to consider manufacturing vehicles that would rival anything produced by the new automotive industry. A journalist asked me why I decided to move in this direction. I explained that in 1902, there was one car to 65,000 people, and by 1909, there was one vehicle for every 800 people. And with those kind of figures, I believe it's time for us to build a Patterson horseless carriage. Our Washington Street facility produced our first automobile on September 23, 1915. Priced at $850, the Patterson Greenfield was offered as a touring car or roadster and featured a 30-horsepower GB&S engine, full floating rear axle, cantilever springs, demountable rims, electric starting, and lighting and split windshield for ventilation. Some reports stated that the vehicle had a top speed of 50 miles per hour and had better bodywork than the Tin Lizzie made in Detroit by the Ford Motor Company. Due to financial constraints, C.R. Patterson and Sons Company built an estimated 30 vehicles. In later years, my son, Pastel Patterson, claimed the company produced 150 vehicles. Therefore, between the years of 1915 and 1918, we sold an estimated 30 to 150 vehicles to local and regional customers. Tom Smith, a car dealer and lifelong resident of Greenfield, Ohio, stated that if my father had been a white man, Greenfield could have become another Detroit.